Hi, I'm Julian Dünser.
I'm Marc Reuter.
Hi, I'm Joshua Grill.
I'm the FMX and virtual production supervisor on this project.
My main position was concept art, art direction and modeling of the whole environment we used for our short film.
I was the compositing lead and FX artist on this project.
I'm Ganschow and I was the director of the marvelous film, The Infinite Breakroom. So the film was made as part of the set extension workshop where 3 departments of Filmakademie come together, the production designers, the cinematographers and the VFX guys.
And we developed a story together.
It's a story inspired by Filmakademie students fighting their way in the morning towards the marvelous coffee machine with this disgusting brown hot water coming out of there that they drink to give them some happiness.
I somehow got into the position of being the concept artist and designer of pretty much everything. So I did overpaints, like just blocking out a simple scene in 3D and going into Photoshop and painting on top of it, and I was thereby developing looks. I also did do some 3D concept art, like for example the bridge that you can see, which is much better and faster for the working with production design because they actually have to build it. And if you just give them a 2D concept drawing, it may be harder to understand the final design.
Especially in the pre-production phase, we worked a lot with the R&D department of Animationsinstitut. They helped us set up all the technical stuff, and from there on we continued developing our own tools and assets for that.
We tell this huge, large-scale office hell type of environment, and during the concept phase we came up with the idea of building a modular set to really easily do that without having to worry too much about actually building a huge environment.
Especially when working with real-time engines and virtual production and LED walls, you have to heavily optimize your scenes and your geometry because you have to produce 25 or 50 frames per second. So that is a lot of computing power. So we had to use a lot of tricks and cheating to achieve that result that we want.
So for each shot we could just assemble this shot-specific setup quite easily. And you would never notice that it's just a setup for one specific shot.
We produced several different simulations in Houdini, which we imported to Unreal through vertex animation textures. We had several assets like falling debris, falling papers and a falling bridge. We used PDG to produce different variations. So the great thing was that we did all the simulations in Houdini and got like Houdini level stuff, and then had the benefit of real time of Unreal, which was best of both worlds, I would say.
Yeah, it was fascinating to work with virtual production from a director's perspective this time, trying to hold the vision together and get all the departments to work on like one thing that fits together and just looks great. And it was just very fascinating and interesting to see the limitations and work with the possibilities of virtual production.
In virtual production, it is very important to match the different lights on set, like the LED light. The LED wall emits light to the set, but also you have your traditional lights on set. So it's very hard to combine them because they are working in different color spaces, and also you have to create a look that looks cohesive in the camera, and therefore we had to adjust the lights on the wall on the actual shooting day to get a better image, basically. So thanks to our camera people and the camera work they did, a lot of shots are out of camera, like finished, final images, That is also thanks to the technology of the LED wall, of course, but that means that we can focus on the other shots that we needed to enhance.
Our core team for the post-production was pretty small. We were 3 people, but we had a new pipeline which helped us pretty well. We had some custom tools built for our set extension workshops, like undistortion and redistortion and some lens effects, etc., which unified our workflow. Yeah, so for our shoot we had some anamorphic lenses from Cooke. They had a severe distortion, I would say, which looks pretty cool, but it also created some challenges because the distortion changed during a focus pull, but we only shot lens grids for 1 focus distance, so our undistorted plates weren't that accurate, so therefore the 3D tracking was difficult and we had to do some additional 2D match move, but in the end it all came together pretty well.
I mainly focused on rebuilding our Unreal project so that we can use it in offline rendering, because we had some full CG shots and also had extensions in addition to the wall we had to make. And so I replaced and did a lot of refining of the environment with high poly meshes and high quality textures.
So for our full CG shot we had a mocap from our actress, and we wanted to enhance this by adding a cloth sim using Houdini's Vellum solver, where we could create the cloth sim pretty fast, and it improved the shot by a lot. So the compositing was also a big challenge for me, because we decided to render in Unreal, and Unreal doesn't support currently the classic render passes like reflection or refraction, so we didn't have those. But luckily we had a cryptomat, so we had a lot of flexibility and it worked out.
If I had to summarize the whole set extension workshop and what I learned, I would say I mostly learned how to work in a bigger team in a VFX production. So you really have to know the stuff of the other department to get going on your work, and you have to have a good communication and always tell the other department what you're doing so they can also further progress with their work.
I learned so much new things about virtual production, about how to work efficiently, how to work with other people in a team. I learned a lot of the R&D department, how to work with this technical stuff and the new LED wall technology. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, ultimately I'm just very happy to have had the chance to work with such a great team and motivated people that did all the hard work of figuring everything I came up with out, and spent months building the virtual sets, spent months testing all the camera setups while I was sitting somewhere and giving feedback and having a great life. And yeah, I'm very happy for all the people and all the motivation they brought to bring this thing to life.